Hello and welcome to another video where today we will be seeing if the three newly promoted sides from the Championship up to the Premier League will be able to survive. We'll review their sort of transfers, the bookies' odds to survive and all of that good stuff. So yeah, let's just dive straight into my predictions or how these teams will do next season as the newly promoted sides, as it's been 3 up, 3 down the last two seasons. So we will start with Leeds United then. They are 5-4 to go down on the bookies odds. That is third favourite due to Sunderland and Burnley. So they were the best team that got promoted last season from the Sky Bet Championship. They have signed Xhaka Bijol, a decent centre-back from Udinese, 26 years of age, a very solid fullback in Serie A. So that is a very good signing for Leeds United. They also signed Sean Longstaff officially yesterday for around £13.8 million from Newcastle United, which is a decent signing. But I think they're going to have to strengthen a bit more in that area, to be honest. And then they've signed also Gabriel Gudmundsson. I think he's Icelandic of some sort, plays for Lille, and they signed him for £11 million. And they've also signed Sebastian Bonor from Wolfsburg, of course, for £6 million. So yeah, not a bad window from Leeds United so far. Still improvement to be made. I think when we get onto Sunderland, we'll see what their business has been like for this upcoming season. But yeah, I think Leeds have done really well. They've also signed Lucas Nemetra on a free from Wolfsburg as well. As I said, Vel, I'm not German, am I? So yeah, they've lost Jack Harrison, ended loan, Rasmus Christensen, Sam Greenwood, all returning to the club. Not that that's any big deal for them. They did lose Manuel Solomon because he was on loan. I think there's a rumour of a permanent deal. Junior Ferbo, they obviously replaced him with Gudmundsson. Rasmus Christensen has gone to Frankfurt for £6 million on loan there last season. Frankfurt obviously paid the big bucks to get him in for next season. So yeah, Daniel Farke, the head coach down at Leeds United, appointed on the 4th of July in 2023. There was rumours as soon as Leeds United got promoted that he could be sacked, but I really don't see that happening now for Daniel Farke and Leeds. They have spent nearly 50 million this summer and only having an income of £6 million. That's right. So yeah, latest rumours, they have had Neil A. Luni from Lons. Of course, 50 million market value, decent centre midfielder for Leeds. They did, as I said, they do need to strengthen in that position if they are going to try and stay up in the Championship, in the Premier League this season. I feel like Daniel Farke should be given the benefit of the doubt. So yeah, do I think Leeds United will stay up? Personally, if they do a bit more business and a bit more good business, I definitely can see them staying up. But yeah, I think it'd be very, very difficult for Leeds United to stay up this year. But as you know, you never know with Leeds, and some of the other sides like Brentford could have a massive, massive drop-off. And they could be really struggling at the start of the next season with Keith Andrews in charge after losing Thomas Frank and all of that stuff. It could go quickly downhill for Brentford. So yeah, Leeds do have some hope, but Sunderland also are spending big. We'll get onto that in a minute. And now into the team that finished second in the Championship and got automatic promotion with Scott Parker last season, and that was Burnley. Burnley have been, well, they haven't been splashing the cash as much as Sunderland, but yeah, they've signed some brilliant players. They've signed Shawana, I don't know how to say his name, 50 million, 21-year-old right winger from Lazio, so they're obviously signing him for the future. I think this was Burnley's problem last season, was signing too many players for the future, but not going to criticise them. Jacob Brun-Larsen is back from 4 million from Stuttgart. Bashir Humphreys is in there for 14 million. They are, just a quick mention, they have signed Marcus Edwards, but they are also 49. They are the second favourites to get relegated are Burnley, but that is to be expected. And then Sunderland, obviously the favourites. They've also signed Jadon Anthony from Bournemouth, who was on loan at Leeds last season. Hartman from Final, the left back. Fleming, after he was on loan from Millwall last season, they have made that into a permanent deal now, so that is pretty good. They've also signed Carl Walker, very good Premier League experience. Yes, he's 35 years of age. Yes, he may be getting on a bit, but that is still very decent business from Burnley. So they've also signed Axel Tuanzebe from Ipswich. I don't think that's a particularly great signing. I think he'll just be backup for Burnley this season. And Ekdal Dikwa, Hunchini, Cherlinov and Aduimi all at end of loans, but that doesn't really matter. For Burnley, they have let go of Masengo Costello to Wigan for 400k. I don't think it was particularly great last season. They've also let go of Egan Riley to Marseille, as well as Hun Onji, who was on loan last season from another club has gone back to St. Pauli. They've also lost a big key player in experience, and that is Josh Brownhill. They've lost Nathan Redmond, and they've lost John Joe Shelby, the GOAT himself, Voldemort himself, as well. So yeah, they've signed most of their players into permanent deals. They've been spending 723 million. They've spent more than Leeds, but I still think Leeds might have a better squad overall. Only got income of about 3.4 million. Not great for Burnley. Scott Parker, the coach, he is 44 years of age. Did appoint him last season. Very risky appointment, but yeah, I'm sure he'll be sacked in this season because I don't like his style of football. It's too defensive. And they can easily get broken down, and they won't be scoring enough goals. James Trafford in goals, a great goalkeeper, but I don't think he is going to quite cut it. And the latest rumours for Burnley is Max Weiss, the goalkeeper, for £4 million, another young keeper to challenge James Trafford. I'm not sure what Burnley are doing. They need to be spending on the big bucks on the experienced players to get them into this league. Maybe another Ross Barkley, similar to what Luton Town had last season. So yeah, Burnley, the big question is, do I think they'll stay up? Absolutely not. I do not think Burnley are going to stay up. I think they will be down and out. Sadly for them, it's just a shame to see these newly promoted sides just being absolutely pinned up against a wall, really, in these games. And yeah, I think Burnley will really struggle under Scott Barker this season. And the way Sunderland are going, I think they could definitely finish ahead of Burnley this season. So we move into Sunderland then under Regis Labrie. Favourites to go down by the bookies, but that is to be expected at the moment. A bit more business coming through the door, you would hope, for Sunderland. I am just going to check the relegation odds for the Premier League. I think Sunderland are the favourites. Yeah, they are 4-11. They definitely are the favourites. To get relegated are Sunderland. So yeah, I think that'll be a bit of an issue for them, but they are making signing after signing. They're going to be playing Newcastle this season, which will be very interesting for their fans. So if we look at the transfer fees so far, they've brought in Diarra from Strasbourg, a young player. They've brought in Dingra from Brighton, £24 million. Very, very good signing. A player that's played in the Premier League before. I don't think brings the experience though. Enzo Lefebvre, that has been made permanent for a £23 million deal from Roma. So that's a decent signing. Club Brugge as well commenced Talby for £20 million right winger. Sadiki, 17 million from Union Saint-Gilles. There's a lot of young players that don't have the experience, so that might be the problem for Sunderland, but it's what Reggie Labrie wants. They've also signed Ray Ildo from Atletico Madrid. What a signing that is, by the way. I don't think there's any talks about FFP, but they could be getting hit with FFP if they do keep spending because the Premier League rules are so strict. But surely you would rather risk it than lose it, right? Because if you want to stay in the Premier League, that's what you got to do. At the end of the day, Joe Bellingham, 30 million, departure out the window. Tom Watson's also gone to Brighton for 12 million. Another good signing for Brighton was a swap deal in there with Adingra. Nathan Bishop has left to Wimbledon, which is expected, and Awishe has gone on loan to Aberdeen. And of course, Enzo Lefebvre was on loan at Sunderland last season, but they've turned that deal into a permanent deal now. So yeah, that is a decent window for Sunderland so far. Some experienced players, some really unexperienced players, some players that played in the Premier League before, some that haven't. So yeah, overall, it's not a bad window for Sunderland so far, you would imagine. So yeah, Joe Bellingham is the main source of income for them. 42 million out the door, spent 115 million overall, minus 73 million in profit. It's quite a lot for Sunderland these days. Reggie Labrie is the head coach. They're also looking at Neil Aluwani. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Leeds are also interested in him. Reggie Labrie appointed last season. You could see him last in the season. If Sunderland do pretty well, which is what they could do. They need to be spending. Are doing what Ipswich needed to do last season: spend on some big players. Yes, Ipswich did spend, but it wasn't to be enough at the end of the day. So overall, do I think Sunderland will stay up? I think they might just miss out. I think they've also signed Jordan Henderson as well. Oh no, that was Brentford. Sorry, no, my bad. So yeah, I think they'll be okay. I think Sunderland will just miss out. Actually, they're not going to be okay. What am I talking about? I think Sunderland will just miss out on staying up in this division. So yeah, that is my 3 reviewed teams for the newly promoted sides and how I think they will fare in the Premier League next season. thank you very much for watching this Premier League newly promoted sides and how I think they will fare in the division this season. I think they might be better than a few, but I think Burnley could still definitely struggle out of the three, and Sunderland and Leeds might be able to push for a little bit of survival. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you on the next one.